Did you survive the eclipse? Because I'm still feeling it. Hello and welcome to your weekly tarot forecast for the week of March 31st to April 6th. So we are moving into a new month this week. We are finally moving out of the huge transformational energy of March. But hopefully that means that your life, your views, your goals look different now than they did at the start of the month, because that was the goal of all that transformation, was that you would actually transform and you would get yourself on a path more aligned with who you're supposed to be. So we're not out of the woods yet. April still has some stuff in store from us. We've still got Mercury and Venus in retrograde. So we are going to be rolling into those into April. The first week of April is kind of just dealing with all the fallout of March. Second week of April, we start to get some direct planets. So things will start to move forward finally, and hopefully in an even better direction than you could have thought at the beginning of March, because you've transformed. So, hello, welcome. If you are new here, I'm trying something new, which I feel like I say every single month on this platform, whether you're watching this on Substack or on YouTube. I am really just trying to find my groove as to what's the best method to both support you and also support myself, because this is my job and I try to make it as accessible as possible to others. I know that my one-on-one sessions are not affordable for everyone, so that's why I like to make these offerings, but I also still need to have some steady income coming in from things like this. So normally, or at least for the past month, they've been on Substack. The first reading of the month has always been free, so that is this reading, but then they usually go behind the paywall. And I've kind of played around with half of the reading being behind the paywall and the other half being available on YouTube. And this month I'm trying an experiment. So you get to decide if this experiment works or not, because I am going to have everything be viewable for the public. I'm going to take down the paywalls on all the posts on Substack, and I'm going to give you two different links below. So below this, you can either choose to make a one-time donation via Venmo, or you can choose to either join the Substack for only $5 a month, which is probably the amount of money that you would put in a one-time donation, or you can even do a one-time donation on Substack as well. So if you want to receive these readings via email on a weekly basis, Substack subscribers, without even paying, will get access to that. You control what you see in your inbox by going to your account and clicking on or off whether you want to see these posts. These are under the category Diary of a Demisexual Witch. It's my blog posts, whereas my monthly musings are kind of like a monthly newsletter to keep you updated on events. So if you want less emails and you don't want to see updates on these, you can always click that off for Diary of Demisexual Witch, or if you just want to see the readings and the posts on the blog, you can click off the newsletter. Totally up to you, but subscribing is a great way for you to be able to show me your support without giving a donation, but also having access to the ability to donate if you choose to. So I'm going to just test this out for the month of April. And if my income at the end of April is as much or more than if I'd kept it behind the paywall, then I will continue to have it just be a pay what you can donation-based reading. If I find that the incentive of getting behind the paywall is what's getting the income, I will continue to do the first post of the month, still available to everyone, and then I'll have subscribers be the ones that get access to the other posts. But I recognize that a lot of people don't want to subscribe to things because you don't like the regular occurrence of a charge. And so I'm trying to brainstorm ways that you can have access to these things without necessarily having to pay a monthly fee, but whenever you feel called to the reading, because that's honestly what it should be. You're using your intuition to figure out if this particular reading is a resonance for you. And if it is, and you want to show support for that, tip your reader. Because again, this is the way that I like to make my income. And I highly appreciate all of the support. But honestly, if you were in an interaction with me in person, if I was in a cafe giving readings or something like that, an exchange of money would be common. So it's very strange that we kind of have this abundance of free readings on the internet. And I like to keep the audience small and the energy a little more readable. So usually those that are sending financial support my way are the first ones that I tap into when I'm doing these readings. So there's an extra incentive as well. So as I'm losing some daylight, I'm hoping that I can get through these readings with the light still shining on my face, but bear with me if not. And we are going to dive into our cards. So again, if you're new here, I'm a reader. I've been doing this for about a decade. I also do energy healing. I teach people to do energy healing. So I'm doing a little bit of astrology, a little bit of tarot, and a little bit of just tapping into the energy of the collective to give these insights. So we're going to do a day by day of the week ahead. And this week we're doing something different because I do get the feeling that yesterday's or Saturday's eclipse is lingering in a lot of people's energy in a way that we're kind of feeling a little physically uncomfortable with. So we're going to do a little bit of a extra tarot reading at the end, but we're also going to do an energy clearing meditation and distance Reiki work. So if you want to stick around for that, please do. Again, if you enjoy the session, leave some support, or if you can't leave monetary support, share the post. Getting the word out and about in the internet is really vital as well. So both of those are equally gratitude inducing, and we are going to dive into the cards. So this week's astrology is not as talkative as the past 4 weeks, which is amazing. That feels like a nice reprieve. So we are going to be using the cards a little bit more this week. We do have some astrology happening, but it's a little more minor. On Monday, the astrology is relatively quiet. So Monday, March 31st, not much going on in the planets, but our card is the Emperor. And the Emperor means that we've gotten a bigger picture perspective over the course of the intensity of March. And we're kind of coming to the end of March, kind of seeing things more clearly, seeing things from that bird's eye view so we can kind of dictate where we want to go next. Like, this is big boss energy. This is CEO energy. This is like, not only do you know what the smaller goals are, but you know what the larger goals are. You know what your mission statement is in life, and you know where you want to be headed. And the more that you have this sort of like larger insights for your 5-year plan, 10-year plan, or even just, again, just a mission statement. If you're not so much a like year by year planner, just have a mission statement for your life of what you want to leave behind on this planet as your legacy, and let that pull your actions forward. And then everything from there on out, you can ask yourself, does this action align with my mission statement? And if you can make an argument that it does, then you can move forward and still have this Emperor energy of knowing where you're headed and where the big picture is. And I mean, psychology states that that's one of the key factors to happiness, is to having goals that we're working towards achieving. So if you're feeling a little bit lost, get a mission statement. And it could be a mission statement for just this area of your life. It doesn't have to be a lifelong mission statement, but that can be helpful to have something larger. And it's just whatever's going to get you out of bed for the moment, for the time being, whatever pulls you forward. And it doesn't have to be selfless. Sometimes the most selfless contributions to the world have started as selfish. So don't feel like it has to be some like grand world-changing thing. Trust that if you follow your impulses and you follow your intuition, it could change the world, even if that's not how you first set out to intend it to be. So that is Monday. We're moving in with that big picture energy. Again, if you do not have a mission statement for yourself, it might be a good day to develop that. Tuesday, again, relatively quiet astrology. And our card is the Ace of Wands. So we actually have 2 aces in our reading for the week, which means that there are like the seeds being planted. There's new ideas, new inspiration coming in, again, because March was heavy and we did the work, and now we're moving to April and we're reaping the rewards. So it's like March was planting the seeds and doing all that hard work in the garden, and April we're starting to see things sprout. We're starting to see a little bit of evidence of the fruits of our labor, even if it's not like the big picture payoff. So with Tuesday's Ace of Wands, it's in particular an inspiration towards spirituality or creativity. I have a cat that's playing with my rug, so hey, don't do that. Thank you. We are going to move into this creative inspiration, and creative can be artistic. It can be creative in like a life force type thing. It could be a sort of like maybe you're wanting to bring life into the world, and it's just passion based. It could be creating a relationship. It could be creating a new life plan. Maybe you got your mission statement done on Monday, and on Tuesday you're like, okay, let's figure out how we're gonna make this momentum move forward. But the key is that it should feel pleasurable. You should feel passionate about Wands energy. So if you're not in a place where you're feeling passionate about something, because that happens, I feel you. I suffer with my own depression sometimes, or you don't even know what direction you're headed. This is a sign to find pleasure wherever you can. So if you're not working on like big picture goals today, this Ace of Wands could be just like find pleasure in your day-to-day life. Like find pleasure in lying in bed for a few extra minutes. Find pleasure in the juiciness of a strawberry. Find pleasure in the sunlight on your face. Find pleasure and let that move you forward. Because sometimes it has to start with those simple little things for us to remember what pleasure feels like to be able to pull towards our bigger passions. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, we're rolling right in with our other ace, which is the Ace of Pentacles. So this very well could play out for the beginning of this week in a, like if you're feeling really organized and really motivated, it could be that your mission statement, your big picture is happening on Monday. Tuesday, you're getting more inspiration for creating the plan and creating things moving forward. And as soon as Wednesday, you could start to see a potential business or monetary payoff. So it doesn't always have to come in the form of like a traditional business offer or payment. It could be just creating more support and stability in your life, because that's also Pentacles. But it could potentially be a business offer. You could have created something that then someone wants to purchase or buy or be a patron for, commission. That's what I wanted to say. Like an artist could, if you're an artist, you could get a commission for something. But it's the beginning of something. It's the beginning of a potential business payoff, business interaction. It also could be that you encounter someone that inspires business. So maybe you have this plan and you don't really know how it's going to pay off financially, and someone helps you see things from that perspective. So that's Wednesday. On Wednesday, we do have a little bit of astrology because we have Venus conjunct the North Node. I don't know if you can hear the cat scratching the wall, but I apologize if you can. Bane is very needy today, that post-eclipse energy. I know, buddy. It's okay. Do you want to come here? Come here, say hi. Okay, so Venus conjunct the North Node. I don't know if I said opposite. Venus is conjunct the North Node. So again, we've talked about in previous weeks, conjunct means that these 2 points are intensifying each other's energy. Venus is the planet of love and beauty and, yes, money. And the North Node is your karma in this life, the direction that you're pointing towards to learn your life lessons and fulfill your purpose. So there is this element of like your life purpose and your financial payoff could align with one another on Wednesday. And it could be in a way that's big and obvious, or it could be some way that's subtle. So be open to the avenues that feel like they're pulling you in a direction that could give you sort of like, I mean, it's getting paid for your life purpose is what this energy is on Wednesday. So if an opportunity comes along, like pay attention to your inbox, pay attention to the messages that are coming in. Don't immediately say no to whatever comes in on Wednesday. You don't have to say yes, but think it over. Because there could be an opportunity or an offer that comes through that doesn't immediately feel like it's aligned with your purpose. But once you mull it over and you kind of go back to your drawing board and your mission statement and your life plan that you've developed, you can actually realize that it does fit in, and maybe in a way that you couldn't have planned out. Like it could be better than what you could have imagined. So that's my big message for Wednesday is like, if something comes in as far as an offer goes, don't immediately resist it. Do a little improv, like yes and energy, or at the very least, like, can I get back to you? Maybe not yes and, but like, can I get back to you in a few days, or can I get back to you tomorrow? And anyone worth their salt is going to let you think it over for at least 24 hours. So let that be part of Wednesday's lesson. Thursday, again, we have relatively quiet astrology. Buddy, come here. You can say hi. But the card for Thursday is a Lover's card. And I would like to point out that after weeks of having lots of reversed cards, our first 4 and soon to be 5 cards of the week are all upright. So this is evidence of that energy starting to move forward. Even though our planets are still retrograde, they're going to move forward next week. So we're starting to prepare for that energy. And Thursday's energy has potential for partnership. Now, if you're new here, know that I love to point out that the Lovers is not always about external romantic relationships. Lovers can be platonic, lovers can be business. It could be that you get a really aligned partnership in business with all of the stuff that's happening prior to this in the week. Or it also, my favorite way to do it is internal, because ultimately, even if it is an external thing, it's an internal thing. The external world is always sending you, reflecting something that you're healing or integrating within you. So on Thursday, at the very least, you are integrating your own inner lunar, solar, feminine, masculine energy. And what that looks like is it means that you're learning to balance out the desire to act and the need to find inspiration before acting. So it's this feeling of, like Abraham Hicks talks about it a lot, like get in alignment and then take action. So this is like meditating as you start your day and like letting the inspiration that comes forward in your meditation dictate what you're working on or who you're communicating with or where you're pulled for the rest of the day, rather than just leaping out of bed, checking your phone and letting that dictate what's happening. This is about tapping in to your inner lunar divine feminine energy, letting that stillness bring inspiration forward, and then let that inspiration drive you into that solar masculine energy that's taking action and moving forward into this sort of like emperor boss, let's get things done energy. So this is a combination of stillness and action on Thursday, and possibly a very aligned partnership presenting itself. I get the feeling that even if this is romantic, it's somehow inspiring your life purpose and your career path. If your life purpose and your career align, they don't have to. You can fulfill a life purpose without it being your career, but most of us, ideally, we want to get that Venus payoff for our life purpose, as we talked about on Wednesday. So Thursday, you could find a romantic partner, a friend, a business partner that's going to help motivate you and move you forward. But at the very least, you're going to balance out your inner divine feminine and masculine to help find the proper intuitive inspiration for your actions. So we move into Friday. Friday, we do have a bit of astrology. Again, softer astrology. We have sextiles and trines this week. So other than our Venus conjunct North Node that we had on Wednesday, which is probably the more major thing that's happening this week, we have a lot of sextiles and trines, which are just kind of like planets kind of meeting up and giving each other a little kiss of good luck. On Friday, all the planets that are happening, I'm not going to go through each one by one, but there's 3 transits that are happening with Saturn, Uranus, and Mars. That's it. So, I mean, to break them down real quick, Saturn is sextile Uranus first, Mars is sextile Uranus second, and then Mars is trine Saturn third. And they kind of are all grouped together towards the afternoon, evening. So this basically just means that we're dealing with the elements of Saturn, which are dealing with life lessons and sort of integrating those life lessons in our surroundings. I don't get the feeling with it being sextiles and trines, it's not so much like, boom, you're going to get hit with a life lesson on Friday. It's more like you're recognizing what you've learned and you're integrating that into your life. Uranus is about change. It's about being able to just move things forward into the next chapter. And then Mars is about taking action. So we are basically using Friday to evaluate the lessons we've learned, recognize how that's going to help us to create change, and then using those lessons and that realization to move forward into action. Our card is the Knight of Pentacles. So this does bode well for action on Friday, but it's slow and steady action. So while Mars can sometimes be a little bit like, let's dive into this, let's really push forward, we have to keep in mind that Mars is in Cancer. It's not like it's Aries fiery energy. It's in a watery energy. So it can be a little bit dampened. And the Knight of Pentacles is about doing things in a way that feels sustainable. The Knights are always moving things forward and kind of charging in, but the Knight of Pentacles is the one that's kind of a slower charge. He's like checking to make sure everything's in place, everything's good. Like this is like doing your due diligence before you take the action. Like just check your balances, check that you've got your plan intact, check that you know where you want to go, and then charge in. And charge in a way that feels sustainable, that you're not going to get tired before you get to the gate. That's what this energy is. So slow and steady wins the race on Friday. And that's because we're working so hard to integrate our life lessons, to create change, to take this action. As we move into Saturday, again, relatively quiet astrology, at least for where I am in Central Time in America. And it is the Eight of Cups reversed. So this is our first reverse card of the week, and it actually is one that I would like to see reversed, because this can be kind of a disappointing card when it shows up upright because you're walking away from something that didn't work out the way that you thought it would. In this case, something could be coming back around that you walked away from. So this is almost like if you like hold a butterfly tightly, you'll crush it. If you like let it go, it might come back to you. Or if you love something, let it go. That's the metaphor I'm looking for. If you love something, let it go. And if it's ever truly yours, it'll come back to you. We are in Venus retrograde. This could be a love that's coming back to you that you let go. Or it could be an opportunity that's coming back to you that you thought had passed, that you were like, oh, I'm done. I'm moving on from that. And then it comes back around, probably because you've done so much work on yourself during March and you've realigned your energy, and something's coming back in a way that's a little more aligned with your life purpose than it would have been before when you walked away from it. That being said, not everything that comes back around is meant for you. Like, you have free will and you get to use your own intuition to discern if this thing that's coming back to you is really something that you even want anymore. Because that's one of the benefits of all of the life lessons and all of the transformation that we did in March, is that we're different people. Like, I know that sounds insane that over the course of a month we could transform that much, but we're different people. We're aligned to different values. And this could be something that's coming back around because you're in alignment. Or it could be someone that's coming back around because they see your glow, your shine, and they want a little bit of that. And you're going to actually kind of look at them and be like, no, I don't really feel like I need you in my life anymore. Like, you don't fit my values. So you don't have to say that to them. You don't have to be rude, but but it could be either one of those sides of the coin that's happening on Saturday. So moving from Saturday into Sunday, we do have a little bit of astrology. We have the Sun sextile Jupiter, and we have Venus trine Mars. So again, sextiles and trines are just like a little lucky little kiss. They're kind of supporting one another in a certain way. Sun sextile Jupiter, we could have a little bit of luck happening because Jupiter is the planet of luck and sextiles tend to be lucky. And so the sun kind of shining a light on the area of our life where we are a little luckier could present a little opportunity of luck. I also love that in Central Time it's happening at 4:44 a.m. So there's that repeating 4. It's an angel number. Angels are kind of having your back that day. And then the Venus trine Mars is actually a good day for... I'll use this softly. It's a good day for taking action in regards to Venusian things, so love, beauty, money, but keeping in mind that Venus is still retrograde. So we are being very mindful of the fact that just because it might be a good day for action, that Mars is kind of moving us forward, we still want to do so with the feeling that Venus might be a little hazy right now. Our card is the Six of Wands. And this is an element of being seen as sort of a role model in a way. So if you're on social media on Sunday, or if you're in sort of a public facing role in your life, this could be a sign that this sounds creepy. You're being watched is what I want to say, but not in like a creepy stalker way. Like, you're being watched in like sort of like a the image that's coming to my mind. I was going to say like a little kid that looks up to someone, but the thing that played in my mind is this video that I saw earlier today that was a kitten learning to clean itself from a YouTube video of another cat cleaning itself. And so basically on Sunday, like, know that people are watching you, but like in a way that they're like, I want to observe them because they're doing something right. And I want to kind of get that right as well. So you're kind of a role model on Sunday. So I think that's kind of a little thing to add to the sort of like Jupiter luck and Venus Mars meetup, is that you want to make sure that the actions that you're taking on Sunday not only align with your values, but align with how you want to be seen from the world and how you would want other people to copy you. So for this, I always think of things. I have younger nieces, and thankfully they're not on social media yet, but I always think to myself, like, when they do get to that age that they're on social media, like, how do I want to show up online to be a role model that's positive for them? And that's kind of the energy of Sunday, of like, if you had smaller humans looking up to you, would you like what they were trying to copy and see within you? So that is our week. I'm losing my sunlight. It's actually completely gone, but hopefully we can power through this before it gets too dark, because we are going to move into some extra cards. And again, this is normally, if I do a free preview, I usually just do the weeks, then move into either Earth, Air, Fire, Water sign cards for the subscribers, or for an extended reading. And this is going to be for everyone. We're going to do a little bit of an extended reading, but I want to leave time for our energy clearing as well. So I'm going to pull some cards from the same deck, going with the energy that we've already played out in the cards. And I'm going to focus on, let's see, we have a lot of positive movement forward over the next week. And I think that what we really need clarity on is like an objective. Like, I almost want us to have a card that's like, whoa, okay, talkative cards. I almost want us to have a card that's like, where are we being pulled as far as that mission statement goes? So let's see what came out here. I got two cards that flipped out. First one is the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is a reminder that abundance is a give and take. There's a really great interview that I once heard with Ted Danson, and he talks about his view on money, because obviously he's a very affluent person. He's been a successful actor since the 80s, but he talks about how he sees money as like a tube, and, you know, money flows in and money flows out. But if at any point you get in the scarcity mindset and money's not flowing out, then more money can't flow in eventually. So like, there's this feeling of like, you have to let there be both sides of it in order for it to keep flowing. And that's not to say that you spend everything in the tube and let it be empty and are waiting for more money to flow in, but like recognizing that there is a give and take to things. And that happens energetically as well. So we can think of that when it comes to an exchange of energy in the world, and how we are letting ourselves show up for the world around us. Like, we're not going to show up so much that we feel depleted and we're not getting anything back from our social circle or from the people that we're showing up for. But we're also not going to show up with like this barrier that doesn't allow us to give anything. You have to find this balance between the two. So that's the first card that fell out as far as our intentions, our mission statement. The second card came out reversed, and that is the Knight of Swords. So this is kind of echoing our energy of the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knight of Pentacles, I said, slow and steady wins the race. The Knight of Swords is normally a really fast moving energy. So when it comes out reverse, it's telling me to like slow down. And this actually echoes a message that I did on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, at Michelle Shea, the stories are where it all happens, because it's where I kind of just drop in and do a little conversation on occasion. And today, as of the day of recording, so Sunday, we had a conversation about how the eclipse was really affecting everyone physically. And so I did a little breakdown of like, tell me what you're feeling in your body, and I'll tell you what that means energetically as an energy healer. And so I did a couple stories answering people's questions and responding to them. And then I did a little distance Reiki send out to anyone that wanted a little extra healing. And I gave a little recap of that energy. And the recap of that energy was just to slow down, to enjoy the pace of life right now, because we do have these retrogrades. Things are stalled. Even though we're starting to move forward with this energy of this week, like, things are still falling into place. And the more that we can enjoy the moment and be present, the more we're going to find that we have clarity to move forward. So that's what this energy, coupled with our Knight of Pentacles, is telling us, that like, it doesn't have to go fast. And honestly, half the time, all the time, it's gonna be better if we let the universe, the powers, whatever you want to believe in, dictate the pacing, because we get caught up in our big plan, our emperor energy of having this big picture vision, and we want to get it all done right now. And sometimes right now is not when everything else is ready for us. So trust the timing of things, whether you're waiting on a business thing to come through, whether you're waiting on a relationship to come through, whether you're waiting on it to feel like your life to start, or inspiration for something to come through. Trust the timing and do your best to be present in the moment and do that sort of balance of divine feminine, divine masculine energy we talked about with the Lovers card, to recognize that you need to kind of find some stillness to allow the inspiration to come in and then take action. Don't try to take action before you have that really aligned, inspired feeling in your body, in your soul, moving you forward. So that is our message to help us align with our mission. We're gonna have a give and take, not give too much of ourselves, but not be too stingy. Let the tube flow in and out with abundance, and to slow down and enjoy it when we have to slow down. With that in mind, I feel like I was gonna turn on some lights, but I'm like, no, we're gonna move into energy healing anyway. So those are our cards. I do want to check what's at the bottom of the deck because I'm just curious about the underlying energy. And it's the King of Cups. For those of you that are kind of dealing with romantic energy this week, this could be an indicator that there is a really aligned romantic partner coming in. For those of you that are calling in a creative partner for business or whatever it is that you do creatively, there's a really creative aligned energy coming through. And for those of you that are embodying that within yourself, know that you are an expert in your creative field. Whether you think you are or not, the King of Cups is an expert in their creative field and their emotions. So trust that you're the master of those things, and the only thing that's missing is allowing that space for the inspiration to come through. So with that in mind, we're going to do a little bit of an energy cleansing. So I'm going to use some distance healing. I'm also going to guide you through a little visualization. I am going to give credit where credit is due. Some of this visualization is inspired by astrologer Chris Corsini. He does a beautiful little visualization that I'm going to kind of be inspired by during his workshops that he does online. So if you're not used to him, check him out on YouTube or Instagram. And we're going to start with just finding a nice tall seat. And I want you to place your hands on the crown of your head, because we just had our Aries eclipse and we're moving into a lot of other Aries energy with the planets moving around. And the crown of the head is where Aries is ruled by. So we're going to start at this point, and it's also the point where that inspiration comes in through the crown chakra. So sometimes this gets a little fuzzy, especially during eclipse season. Like, things can feel a little frazzled. It can feel like there's a lot of inspiration starting to come through. So I want you to just take those hands to the crown of your head and give yourself a moment just to kind of like let yourself close off from whatever intense energy has been coming through to you. And then coming from the crown of the head, we also have our hair, which actually has a lot of sort of like antennas towards the energy around us, and it accumulates a lot of that energy. So we're going to start with that energy at the top of the head, and I want you to either physically with your hands or even mentally in your mind, imagine sort of combing out your hair. And as you comb it out, flick to the side. So again, you can visualize this or you can physically do it, but just kind of start to comb out. Who cares what the hair ends up looking like afterwards? You're just going to go like root to tip, comb it out and flick it away. Get it away from you. If you want to imagine flicking it out into the ground, if you're near a window, or if you have some potted plants or some crystals to transmute the energy, you can flick it that direction. But just get it out of you. Chris Corsini does a little like visualization of a fire. So if you resonate with fire, you can picture a fire in front of you that you're flicking it into, but get it away from your body. And then just give yourself a second to let that sort of like sink in, that you've just cleared some of that energy off of your hair, off of your crown. And then go ahead and just let your hands or that visualization just start to guide down your body, almost like you're just giving yourself a little like bath, like you're in a shower and you're like letting the water rush over you and you are brushing all of the rest of the energy away. You can go between the fingers, you can go everywhere, but just let yourself kind of make contact with every part of your body with the intention that you are letting go of outside energy that's not yours, that's clouding your vision and your own personal mission statement. As you're doing that, sending you some distance Reiki. And just flick it all away. Again, flick it into a fire, flick it into the earth, flick it into an invisible bowl of water. Imagine it getting away from you and out of your space, whether it be that something's transmuting the energy or you're actually physically flicking it out a window and outside of where you live. And once you've done every inch of your body with this little brushing off of energy, once you come back to the hands at the top of your head and allow yourself to grow tall into your hands. And then I want you to imagine that just like those are like gates at the top of your crown, that you're now setting the intention that you are opening up only to inspiration that is meant for you, that is energetically aligned. And I want you to imagine opening up that gate at your crown. And you can even open up your hands if you would like. And just picture a white light streaming down from the cosmos, from the sky, from whatever you want to believe is sending you this divine inspiration. And just let it start to melt down into your crown. And almost like water trickling down through your internal system, let it start to trickle down through your body. Doing almost like an internal shower. Now that we've done our external energy clearing, let that white light travel down through your internal systems, clearing away anything that's not yours. And then I just want you to sit in this energy. To breathe deeply and to be okay with not taking action in this moment. Just enjoy the feeling of a clean slate. Enjoy the feeling of being connected to something greater, to something more inspiring. And this is the state that I want you to tap into for the rest of the week. Without feeling like you have an agenda of needing to be inspired to action. Just let yourself be this clean, clear slate to be written on. And some days it could be that that slate remains clear. And you just go about your day enjoying each and every moment. But there might be some days that once you clear that slate, you'll find that something starts to write upon it. Something starts to come forward as an inspiration for action that feels really passionate and in alignment with your mission. And if you feel like you're stuck for something to do with that clean slate, I want you to just picture writing your mission statement on it in your mind, or say it over and over in your mind. It could be a full statement. It could be a single word that attaches you to whatever that mission statement is. And you can feel free to